look at that. Look who we have on the podcast today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, you introduce yourselves. I can't even do the justice. So we got Madison and Natasha. Thanks for coming on. We've been talking about getting you on here for a little while. And we are kind of recording in an odd little setting today. Normally it's in our studio, as you know, and we were excited to have you in there. And we have some construction going on, so we had to improv.
We're okay with that. We can roll with it.
We prefer improving.
And we may even have some internet glitches and stuff. Who knows what's going to happen here today? So
bring it.
Everybody will just have to bear with us, and hopefully this should be good. Well, introduce yourselves first of all, and kind of, a little bit about you in San Diego and your company you work for, and all the amazing things you do for people here and realtors and people in San Diego.
Aww. Well, I'm Natasha Kaichis.
And I'm Madison Levin. And anytime we have an opportunity to share our love story, we'll take it.
I love how you call it a love story. That's
she loves calling it a love story.
I also love trying to get Natasha to match me on purpose, and she doesn't always like that.
She likes to twin with me.
I like to be twinning.
Well, you guys are very good with your social media posts and doing all kinds of oddball fun things. So I love it.
Aw, thanks. So we are, we created the SD Coastal team 6 years ago at Foundation Escrow. I've been with Foundation for just over 10 years, and Madison had her 6-year anniversary in March, and we've been together since then. So we actually, I've been in the business 20 years. I started out as a wholesale rep. I've been at escrow obviously 10 years. Madison's back. She share your background.
Yeah, I've been in sales my whole life. I grew up in it. I'm from Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. Interesting.
Patriots.
I was just waiting for that to click. My job at the time when I lived in Chicago moved me out here to San Diego, and conveniently my office was right across from SeaWorld on Ingram, right next to the gym, which is that we started going to, called Performance 360. And Natasha had been going there right when they opened. So that's where we actually met, was at the gym.
On a barbell.
On a barbell.
Oh.
We shared it for many years. Yeah. I mean,
you fell in love.
Yeah.
You fell in love.
She truly saved my life one time. I had weight on my back doing a back squat, and I couldn't do it, and she had to spot me.
I forgot about that.
I fell forward and she pulled me back.
I totally forgot.
I was like, this is where it all began.
I used to be running late to the gym. It started right at 4, and I would whip in my car, run out in my high heels, and I would run to the bathroom. And in like 3 seconds, I'd come out in fully clothed gym wear. And she was like, who are you? What do you do?
Well, pause. Yes, most of the time she came out in like completely full gym wear, but sometimes she would forget her sneakers or her sports bra.
Yeah.
And continue to work out though with the heels or the regular bra.
No, just socks.
I'm getting like a visual of this. How does that work out?
Forgetting the sports bra was the worst. The sneakers wasn't so bad because it was more like lifting weights and stuff. So it's not like I had to run or ride a bike. But yeah, so the bra was the worst, jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Or push-ups.
But honestly, like we were friends before we built the SD Coastal team. And I remember, I felt at my old company, like part of the relationship aspect, which I thrive in that part of my business, I was losing that, and I was not venting, but I always felt really comfortable talking to Natasha. We were good friends, and I always looked up to her, even though I wasn't in that industry. Like I felt even I could talk to her about other business things just to pick her brain. And then one day, we kind of just said, like, I was like, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license, or I'm thinking about getting into the real estate industry. And she's like, oh, well, why don't you just like come have a glass of wine with me and like let me tell you what I do. And it kind of like holidays happened, and then her birthday was rolling around, and finally we were at the gym. She's like, we never went for that wine. Like, let's go this week on the calendar. We went, and honestly, she just shared with me like from the side of the business that she was on, the escrow side, the affiliate side. And it opened my eyes to this world where I was like jaw dropped, like excited to hear about. And she was like, okay, so like, what are you doing tomorrow? Come shadow me. And I had this feeling where I was like, okay, I have a team underneath me. I can't just like go shadow you. But it was that feeling where I was like, if I don't do this, I know I'm going to have a huge regret. And it just felt right. So I called in sick, went out in the field with her. We literally did a whole day in the field, even to the gym class, even to an event that night. At the end of it, she was like, so what do you think? And I was like, I think I was made for this. Like, I think she's like,
you are made for this.
She was like, well, I never, stars aligned. I never thought I'd bring on a partner. Like, let's do this. So she took a huge chance on me. And for me, it's like every single day, 6 years later, although we're like business partners, like I get to go to work with my mentor, my best friend, my family. So we do have a great,
we have a great
story.
partnership.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do. And partnerships are hard, right? Yeah. Most partnerships fail, as we all know. And usually the best ones that typically last are the ones that have a yin and yang with them, meaning you're typically bringing things to the table that your partner can't, and vice versa, them to you, you to them, and things that you typically are benefiting from and adding value, versus if you guys literally did the exact same and had the exact same attributes, you'd actually probably do that a lot.
We would. And I think that was one of the things I realized that night when we finally met for wine. I went there initially thinking she was going to want to be a real estate agent. And then when she turned, and it was interesting, that same day, my sales manager was like, Tasha, you really should bring on a partner. And they'd been trying to get me to do that for a while. And I had trouble like giving up control, or I didn't want to, the other thing too, I'm not a good manager of humans. So it's like, I didn't want to manage anybody. I've done it in the past, and I have a high level of expectations. And if people aren't on the same level as me, then I get frustrated and then I shut down. And so I really wanted somebody with that same hard work ethic and drive that I had. And I saw it in Madison. And like you said, the yin and the yang, like, she's great on social media. Like, people say ours, it is ours, obviously, but does the majority of the stuff. I don't have a big social media background. I didn't grow up with iPhones or any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, Madison is great with it.
She's amazing. Yeah, She's amazing.
Yeah. I'm raw. No, it's authentic. It's not edited.
But and I'm sure you see this, and this is a great topic to kind of dive off into, because whether it's realtors or people in general on social media, and I'm sure you guys see this, the response and engagement, likes and comments and everything that come from the production style videos is far less than the ones that are super authentic and can connect with people directly. And so it's funny because we spend all this time doing all these production videos, and then you see when you do something very real, like the engagement's like 3 times as much. And I think that's because everybody's so used to, at this point, all this production stuff, and so it numbs them.
People love our bloopers.
Well, speaking of, we did our local stats, local spots is something that Madison and I do every month, and we pick a different zip code, and we pick Carlsbad, and we happened to pick a day when it was pouring rain, and we were late for a meeting, so we shot them all so fast, and usually we'll look at them, and I shot this last one, and when I went to get in the shot, I was out of the shot. You couldn't even see me, and I didn't realize it until we got home. And I started editing it, and then I was like, I'm not even in this. And we're just like, screw it, let's just post it.
And that's why we're running the podcast today, because we could have easily said, hey, listen, screw it. We're not in a perfect setting, in a perfect studio, and a perfect this and a perfect that, perfect lighting, right? Here we are. So I'm in my car, and you're in.
We like to lean in and really commit. But it's true.
So,
and I was going to say, back to like the yin and the yang, like there are so many, like we always joke and laugh about, like, I call Natasha like the president of our math department, because like she'll find things or do, like strategies like that. So we always tell people, like, where I'm weak, she's strong, and vice versa. And that's why it works. But our end goal is always the same. Like the one thing that we do operate the same way is that we are absolutely invested in like the relationship. Like we go to our clients' baby showers, their weddings, like our whole community is really based around that, but like we wouldn't have it any other way. And that's why we have the common goal, but yet we have our strengths and our weaknesses that balance each other.
Yeah. And that's something, I even learned, when I was in the sales side a lot, and you learn quickly that you could be the best realtor in terms of your skill set, but much like escrow and any other service-based industry, it's all about people.
Yeah.
Right. And if you can't connect with people, because most people see it as a transactional game, right? Where like, yeah, okay, it's escrow. Yeah, it's title. Yeah, it's this, or you're a realtor, right? And there's a million of you, or whatever it may be. So I need to connect with you personally beyond the business side where you could be phenomenally business. But if I don't like you and trust you, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. You know, and it's the same thing with you. If you're going out, meeting people, going to their events, getting to know them personally, getting to know their kids' names, their dogs' names, walking their dogs. Who knows, man? Sweeping houses. Who knows? The stuff that everybody does. That's going to connect. And then people see your personalities. So
Totally.
I still remember the day I met you, Justin.
Oh, see, that was when. Well, actually,
I
was
don't
it
know
in
that I know
was it in
this.
the was it in the condo?
It was on Reba Caravan, and
It was
you
one of my
were at
listings.
Harcourt's. You had your blue on.
It was one of your listings? So,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
I
It was
walked
in a
in
condo, I think, in
as
the
if he
Village.
knew me. I walked in pretending like he knew me, and I think I confused him.
I'm like,
Did you
yeah,
hug him?
we're cool.
Did he
But
hug
listen,
you
here
back?
we are,
Oh,
umpteen them.
he's a great
Yeah,
hugger.
yeah. And here we are, umpteen years later, right? And
Yes.
we're still
Honestly,
friends.
probably
and-
6 years. It was really early on in when I started. I remember that. It was probably
Yeah.
6
Right.
years because you, yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh, time.
Yeah, now I'm pretty much 90% out, or as much as I can be out, and some in, and who knows, man. You know.
Yeah,
it's all
you've
part-
come a long way too, and where your business.
But
is
about that, like even that relationship, like even getting calls and connecting just on personal levels with like you and I, but then like separately as you've transitioned into what your role is, we've then navigated, and it's like because of the friendship, like I'll have a lunch with him and just pick his brain about like what he's doing. So like that opens up and educates me. So like maybe I can connect someone else that, you know, is trying to do that or vice versa. So now, even though it's not necessarily like you were saying that transactional thing, it's the whole view of it, the whole partnership. And just as you grow, like in a different way, it might not be as many listings or this or that, but like then I'm learning and I'm able to maybe make that investment or educate someone else who's trying to do that or connect them to you.
Big time.
So it's all kind of plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I was going to ask you guys, I mean, do you guys have any passion projects that you're working on?
I would say for us, and I think it kind of all stems from the top. One of the reasons why like we are so at home with Foundation Escrow, foundation even being in the name of it, is we're a super philanthropic company, and where we can be at a company like that, it really aligns with our personal goals. So obviously, like the NICU at Rady's Children's Hospital is very near and dear to our heart because our company is a family, and you know that story. And it also, I mean, holy moly, like even when we do and spearhead some of these fundraising events that are catered more towards like giving funds back to the NICU, our community shows up. Like it is insane. So we can kind of like deep dive into that as well. But for me personally, I know Natasha is the most giving person like in the world. I think we were joking about it before we came on. I was like, hey, if you're not giving, you ain't living. But it's true. So I know for me, like, I definitely try to do, you know, more passions that always just different things, but that connect more on a personal level. You know, one of my best friends, her brother passed away from cystic fibrosis. So I rode a 30-mile bike race this year for that and raised money for that. She's actually hiking today on an extreme hike for that. So like just different things like that, personally and professionally, always kind of have those passion projects, but you are always giving.
Well, I mean, yeah, I do believe you. I've never actually said if you're not giving, you're not living, but I think giving back gives more to your heart and your soul than anything, and it feels good. You know, that kind of like fuels me when you can do something to help somebody else, whether big or small, whether it's giving somebody $1 or whether it's, raising money at the gala that we do. Like, it doesn't matter. I think it's just the actions that you take feel good and make you better,
Yeah, they've done major studies on this where they'll, literally test somebody's serotonin levels and their dopamine levels and all this stuff prior to them actually doing something for somebody else, as tiny as it may be. And then the before and after, it's amazing what happens to people's levels of serotonin and dopamine post just doing something for somebody else. Right. And then what's funny is that law of reciprocity happens. And then we were talking about this, hence the podcast, Abundance to Give. But do you think that helping and giving back to other people has kind of found its way back to kind of create abundance for you? Whether it's through success in business or personal life?
100%.
I have I have a great life, and I've done very well for myself. I have a great family. I have a great partner. I'm very blessed, and I think it's because, lots of reasons really, but I really do attribute a lot of that to helping people. And like I said, big or small, but it makes you it makes me a better person. It makes me, I want to get up every morning. You know what I mean? I want to take the day. Who knows what's going to happen? Like I have a great life, and I feel like a lot of that is because of the things that I've done to get here personally and professionally. So,
And what do you ladies do for fun? Let's talk about some hobbies.
First? Oh my gosh,
little fun stuff around San Diego. What do you guys like to do?
I have become very obsessed with pickleball. Do you play pickleball?
It's the in thing. No, but I probably need to learn. I mean, a little bit.
Well, she's a great coach.
I'm a great coach, and I started a pickleball real estate networking group. We've got about 50 people in our group. We don't all play at the same time, but I have this, I did a post at the beginning of the year and just to put it out to our community to get a game or two a week. It's been more of a game a week. It's been kind of busy lately, but it's so much fun. Well, so I'm in a mastermind group, and we decided last August that instead of having a session where we all got together, we were going to have a pickleball tournament. Yeah. And so I thought, well, shit, if I'm going to play in a pickleball tournament, I better learn how to play pickleball. So we took a couple lessons, and now I play every Wednesday morning with some friends. And then I started my networking group. I play by my house. Darren and I have really gotten into it.
Now she plays 6 days a week.
I play probably, maybe. That's a little embarrassing.
Wow. She'll be like, "Yeah, it was Sunday. We went twice."
The court's smaller, right?
Yeah. Okay. So one tennis court, one tennis court will be, you could break it up into 2 pickleball courts.
Okay. Gotcha. Interesting.
And I'm going to tell you from experience, don't feel the need to have to dive for one, because that scratch is just not worth it.
You're a beast. You're dedicated. That's what it is. It's dedication.
Got the point, lost the game.
Yeah, something tells me you have experience in this, Madison.
we had a lot of fun though. It was funny because we kind of started at the same time, but then she got really into it and just went with it, and it was so fun. She'd be so excited every time she talked about it, and then all of a sudden, some time went by, I hadn't gone in a while, and I went to show up to play with her, and I'm like, she got really flipping good. What? She's really good.
I mean, practice makes it. It totally does. What would you say your daily routines, when you wake up till maybe morning routine, 7 a.m. to maybe 10 a.m. What does that look like? Or when you get out the door?
You want to take it?
I can take this one. I live and thrive off of routine. And I think I can speak for both of us, is we really like to create, once we create a habit, we really do stick with it. And that goes both ways. Once you have to create a new one, all of that. But when I wake up usually around 5:30. I get the dog situated. I get my workout in, shower, and typically depending on the day, I have caravans. It's really important for us. We have a huge part of our market share as a team. So I really like to stay connected and attend those caravans within our territory. I love going to the caravans that have given our business so much and try to support and give back to them too. So we do that, and then it's just meetings. I believe in what I've started and how
I'm
get
sorry.
dog hair everywhere.
It's been bothering
I know. It's
okay,
all
sorry.
over.
Sorry. I look at you and it's like,
She's got my back and my hat. But I did this from the very beginning and I live by it. I have at least minimum of 10 meetings a week and I don't veer from it. And if I don't hit 10 meetings a week, then I hit open houses on the weekend for whatever I didn't hit. It could be old, it could be new, whatever. But for the most part, I really still like to have a minimum of like 5 new people I'm meeting each week as well. And it's my secret sauce. It's worked for me. I don't need to recreate the wheel. I did what a successful person did. I implemented it into my own routine and I stuck with it. And I really don't veer from that. I'll add in different things. You know, I tell people, we laugh, you'll probably can attest to this, Justin, but I say, you see me once, you'll start to see me everywhere because I go to a ton of events and support whatever I can. But like I said, I just don't veer from it. And that mental, like my meal prepping and my health, I had lost a lot of weight and I've always been like an athlete. So for me, like I really stick to that and it makes my whole, like if I miss that, I feel off. Like
Now,
like
how would you say that you stay, because it's like anything, discipline and consistency,
yeah.
right? Because there's got to be mornings that you wake up at 5:30 and you're like, fuck, I don't want to get out of bed, right? There's got to be mornings.
Yeah, I mean,
So how do you deal with that mentally? Because
I'm
that's
super
a lot of
disciplined.
people's challenges, right? Is the mental game
Yeah,
if they're
and I
dealing with
think
mental
that
stuff and yeah.
I think that takes time because for me, like personally, like I'm very disciplined and I'm almost a little, I don't want to say like OCD, but I'm a high I. Like I like instant answers. I like, you know what I mean? I know my personality type. So for me, like I know it's gonna affect me in a negative way if I don't roll and get up like that. But you know, if I do not like get up at that 5:30 or like maybe my body's telling me like, you know, you need a rest or take that time for a minute or maybe or maybe just go for a walk. Like I walk 10,000 steps a day. Like I live by it. And if you know, I just have my routine. So yeah, there's definitely days, but if I veer off of it like one day or something, I feel off and then I'm right back on it the next day. Like I'm the first to tell you, like I had a donut yesterday, no big deal, live your best life. But like I was right back on today.
FOMO.
I'm similar. Like I wouldn't say I'm as disciplined as Madison in terms of like, you know, getting up at 5:30 and going to work out and doing all this. I probably get up at 6:30 and I have a cup of coffee in the morning and then I'll exercise, whether that's, I work out at Darren's quite a bit. During COVID, I stopped going to my gym and we have a full gym at his house. So I'll work out there 3 to 4 times a week. I work there a couple times on the weekend. If I can't make it during the week, then I play pickleball. I'm very active too, but I do the same thing. Like I have my caravans that I go to and I have my meetings that I set and I'm very routine in that way. And it's the same caravan every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday. You know what I mean? Like, and just going back, like consistency and like what I taught you, like what I taught you 6 years ago is what I've been doing for 10 years. So it's just, you got to be consistent and, you know, it creates habits and good habits.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we tell people too, like all the time, you don't need to recreate the wheel. Like it works. It's just, the more people you meet, the more people are going to learn that they like you and trust you and want to work with you. And I don't, if I'm going to go and our job allows for us and our partnership allows for us to like, you know, go see our family. Like that's our why, our purpose. Like we're giving to our family too. So, you know, for me to go home for a week to Buffalo, because that's a long trip and I don't get to go too often. I go for that whole week and I never feel like I'm leaving anything. You know, I have my phone. People can always reach me. But, you know, for some reason, if there's something in person, like Natasha's got my back, vice versa, I've got hers. But I also know like when I'm away, I am going to be present with my family, but I do double down before I leave. So
You're a psycho.
I'm a psycho, but like it might be 20 meetings or it might be like I have a huge workshop that I'm going to do right before I go. So I know like I touched a lot of people and that's just my like, I never want to, I work so hard for that. And, you know, even in the beginning, it's like, this girl's taking a chance on me. I have a lot to prove to her. Like, this is going to be a job that it's going to be hard, but it's going to change my life. And that's exactly what happened. It was I went from a salary and commission doing great for a young 20-something to taking a leap of faith and going 100% commission. Like, it was a big, big challenge, but with those routines and that consistency and that discipline, now we are in these positions where, you know, we love to give back and we're so fortunate. Like I tell my agents and my friends, like, I'm the luckiest girl. I have the best job in the world. Like, I love it. I get to work with my best friend, and I get to meet all my new best friends.
So diving a little deeper.
I was like, she can't sit for long.
Mic drop.
I know. What's up, little fidgeter?
So I have to like. I like mani-pedi.
I mean,
like
Natasha, why don't you just jump off screen while you're moving? I mean, just keep going.
We do like to record things when she's not in the screen.
Like,
yeah,
no, you get like
this.
Yeah,
like
exactly. You get like half nose. So let's jump a little deeper into some personal stuff. Tell me, like, for each of you, for mental wellness, and because it's like a big topic now, is there some tragic moment or something, you know, hardship in your life that you experienced as a child or middle age or at some point, losing someone or something where you had to go through that, and then when you did, like, how did you come out of it, and how did you kind of make it a good thing and not, you know, they always say greatness is born in tough moments, right? I mean, how did you go through that? If you can kind of touch on maybe a moment that you can think of that was really tough for you and how you came out of it.
So for me, my toughest moment was losing my mom. It's been over 15 years now. She passed away when I was 30. And that's a lot for a 30-year-old to go through. You know, and at that time in my life, I was doing really well in my career. And I kind of thought like, oh, I can't ever take vacations, or I can't do this. I can't go see my family. I'm too busy working, and this, you know, nobody can do it as good as I can. And I missed out on seeing my mom more. I missed out on my best friend in England, and my cousin got married in Italy that I didn't go to because it was at the end of the month and I was in lending at the time. Like, I could kill myself, or not kill myself, but I could, you know. And then my mom had always been wanting me to come visit her. She was living in Mexico, and I couldn't get away. And it was this, and it was one thing or another. And then she died suddenly, and she had an asthma attack, and it was like gone like that. Wow. You can't get it back. And I grew up a lot after that. Like, I wanted to be with my family. Like, I was living in Arizona at the time. It was right when I was in the mortgage industry, and it was right before 2008 crash, you know? So I talked to my brother and my sister and my dad all the time. And I had this like longing of like, I needed to be with my family. So it was Mother's Day, which happened. No, sorry, it was not Mother's Day. It was Father's Day, which happened to be on my mom's birthday. And I just,
oh, wow.
Like, I'm done. I'm moving home. So literally the next day I called a realtor, listed my house, and I moved out of my home in 3 weeks. My dad came down, we drove back up, and it was like, I just needed to be with my family, and I needed to reset, and I just needed to chill and have some balance in my life, because the whole work thing and the family, and then my mom, you know, it's just like, and I'm different now. I don't look at a job the same way that I did. My life is different. I'm a very spiritual person. I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up that way. But when my mom died, something changed in me just like that. You know, my mom comes to me in pennies. Like, I just found one yesterday. Like, and that gets me through, because I believe there's something higher. And I do believe my mom is up there watching over me. As hard as it is to have spent the last 15 years without my mom, like, I also feel like I have a guardian angel, you know, helping me through life and making sure I'm okay, and I'm making the right decisions, and I'm taking care of my family. And then my dad passed away 2 years ago. And so when my mom passed away, I became a lot closer with my dad too. So I'm so grateful for the last 15 years that I had with my dad. Losing people is so hard, you know, because you don't get it back. So my thing for people is just, and I try to live this now, like, tell people you love them, go on those vacations. It's okay. If you're busy at work, who cares? Freaking work, you know, go be with your family and your friends and enjoy life. Life is not about work. It's about creating
Yeah,
memories.
and there's never a right moment.
No.
Right? There's never going to be a perfect moment. Stuff's always gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm sure anybody watching this would agree too, because we do get into that hustle and bustle.
We do.
Right?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I mean,
matter.
what's funny is, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee at all, and there's many other folks, Tony Robbins, on and on. And, he did a study kind of on his own, but talking to, tons of 70 and 80-year-olds. And honest to goodness, the one common theme amongst all of them was the level of regret.
Mm-hmm.
The level of regret that almost all of them had. If it was, I didn't see my family enough, or, I didn't really go after my dream, right? I just talked about it, or, stuff like that, right? And you got one shot, man.
Yeah.
You got one shot. I mean, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail trying, baby.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going down in a blaze of glory, all right, let's do it. I mean, at least I'm going to go out going what I love doing, or seeing the people and traveling and all of that stuff, because it's hard because you got one shot.
I just think it's about creating memories. A lot of people, I know a lot of parents now are trying to leave their retirement to their kids when they pass. Like, your kids don't get take them on, take huge family vacations together, spend a month together, spend 2 weeks together, create memories, because your kids and your grandkids, that's what they're going to remember. They're not, so you leave them 10,000, 20,000, 100, I don't know, however much thousand, nobody cares. Yeah. It's about the memories, So.
Yeah.
What about you, Mads? Oh, I mean, first of all, that is one thing that Natasha has even imprinted on my heart is, taking that time, because I think, I was about to say being a lot younger, but no, I didn't mean it like that, because what I meant was I've been really fortunate through, some of her wisdom that she's put with me, is that, I am in that hustle bustle, right? And she reminds me that it is important to take those trips and have that, I grew up, like I said, in Buffalo, New York, and I have amazing parents. I'm very close with my family. I call my dad probably 6 times a day. We are always talking. My mom is my best friend, and my dad's truly my best friend. We're very close. I call my grandma every day. I'm very close. And, my brother struggles, and his whole life he struggled with mental illness, depression, bipolar, suicide, a lot of stuff that him being my older brother affected. Maybe I remember you said a specific moment in your life, and I do remember kind of hanging with the wrong crowd in middle school. And then I was really involved with soccer, and a girl on my team was like, hey, what are you going to do for high school? Are you going to the public schools? And for me, it was really actually daunting, because it didn't have the best name with stuff that had happened with my brother. So she said, come shadow me. Everyone with this, come shadow me. It must be this sign in my life at this all girls school, this private school, and come play soccer. And I remember in that moment, because I remember what I did the night before, and just doing maybe some stuff, and you're young, trying to maybe get attention or whatever, and not really understanding that, it's not that they don't love you. It's just you're so young, you didn't get it. Right. And I remember going and shadowing with her, and I remember being there feeling like, this is going to change my life. If I can get the scholarship and come to this school, I'm doing it. I'm and that school did change my life. It was an all girls school. It was super small. I chose to go to an all girls school. What? And I was the captain of my soccer team, lacrosse team. I was all American there. I did all these things. I went and played soccer in college. It truly changed my life. And it was that moment where, although we all have these struggles and this and that, I knew that was the choice that I had to make, and it set me up for success. And, as we have experiences, you remember, you never know what's going on in someone's day and what happened with their family that day, or, who you're calling. And that's a lesson that I've learned, just specifically knowing that life can be chaotic and everybody has something going on. And, just recently, I did meet my dad in Florida to do a daddy-daughter trip, and we're very close, and we were at a theater, and his heart stopped in the middle of the audience, and this just happened a few months ago. And we were in
Your
the
dad?
ambulance. Yeah, my dad, and we were in the ambulance, and obviously my first call was my mom, and it was a chaotic situation at home. But I believe that it happened with me there for a reason, and my second call was Natasha, and I don't want to say unfortunately, because she's been through some of this with her parents, and even within our partnership when her dad recently had passed. But she reminded me and kind of grounded me, although I was a wreck. But I was an advocate for my dad, and I stayed strong, and I did what I needed to do, and I had my breakdown with Natasha or whatever that looked like. But it's those, to her point, she's the one who was like, you always take the trip, you make those memories, and it could have gone differently if I wasn't there, or in a different situation, or and I guess my point being, yes, we all have moments or tragic things that happen that do imprint us, but that, I guess, make us stronger and different. And I look at life a lot differently now too. My dad is okay right now, and everybody's just,
Wow.
it's always chaotic. But with that being said, it's chaotic, and they're both here. And I don't blink if they say, let's do a trip or meet, because as we already established too, it's work, but we have this beautiful partnership that we're lucky. We don't have to think twice. We can just do it because of what we created. And so I think there's definitely specific moments. But I guess my big food for thought is you just don't know what's going on in someone's day that day, and just
Yeah, that's why they always say,
Be
be kinder than necessary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know.
You don't.
And then you find out, and it obviously makes you feel like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also believe firmly that everything happens for a reason. And
Yes.
I say that losing my mom, I say that losing my dad, I say that with anything, good or bad. You fail at something that you tried for, but you know what? The next time you did it, you succeeded, and you wouldn't have, maybe you tried it different. There's just so many things that happen in life, and they happen for a reason.
Yes.
I truly believe
no,
that.
100%. But I think, to touch on that a bit, let's say it was a relationship gone bad, right? Whether it's a friendship or a love relationship, whatever it is, I think you have to make sure that you are healing from it.
Yeah.
Post and learning from it, right? Meaning, because whether it's friendships or marriages or whatever it is, if you're not learning from it and healing from it and taking that time to understand the role you played, because trust me, it takes two to tango, and sometimes more. But I mean, who knows these days? But anyhow, you have to heal from it, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand your role in it, because a lot of times you may have played a big role,
Right.
consciously or subconsciously,
Yeah.
in that thing maybe happening, or maybe it's a job that went south, or maybe it's a failing business, right? Whatever it is, you have to take the time to kind of process it
Yeah.
and heal from it, so you can improve. So that way, you're right, things happen for a reason, but we all know the definition of insanity, right? And if you're not learning from something and you keep repeating it, right? Meaning you go into a relationship and it repeats, you go into a business, it repeats, you go into this, it repeats. And that's because you're not taking the time when it goes south to step back and process and learn, so you don't do it again.
Such a great point.
And I think too with that also is, yes, take that time and heal and grow, but also if you hold on a grudge, it's only affecting you. That other person has no idea that you're holding this animosity towards them, and it's going to affect how you can grow and how you can heal. And that's one thing that has probably been my biggest challenge. Is I definitely have held on to a lot, in my adult life, maybe with my brother, certain things. And it's let it go, release it, put it out there, because it's only at the end of the day when I look at it, I'm losing sleep. Everyone else is sleeping like a baby. So I think, yes, you give yourself that time and you heal and you grow from it, but you gotta release it and let it go, because it's gonna just, there's so much beautiful to open up to and have that come in, and you need to make space for that beauty. And
And that was going to be one of my next questions is there something, a habit, a challenge that you are currently dealing with? So it sounds like for you, it's maybe holding some personal grudges towards people or things, maybe. No?
Yeah, and I think, challenges, and always, we're in a really fascinating, I find it fascinating, market, right? Like, we are really busy, and it's been, we're very consistent, and we always have challenges within our business, but I'm constantly working on personal development, because if I'm the best version of myself, then I'm showing up the best version for everybody else too. And that means, like, you do need to take that time to, if it's me that I'm crazy busy, I'm never going to be like, I'm too busy to go work out. I'm just going to wake up earlier, because that's for me. And I got to be that best version. So, I'm like a very open-minded person. I read a lot, and I have a lot of audiobooks, more so audiobooks, that every single day. The Gift of Imperfections I'm reading right now, and I absolutely love it. I think, like I said, I'm deep diving into me, and this has been more probably since COVID had happened, where I'm a work in progress. Oh my gosh,
You're a work in progress.
A work in progress, but I'm doing the work. I'm putting in the work, and I've put in a lot of work. So for me, constantly, like I said, personal development is a challenge, but it's a priority.
You've come a long way in the last 2 years. Like, you do take that time out for yourself, and I'm very proud of you, because that was hard for you before. So
yeah, if not, I would be insane, more insane.
Well, no, and because I just started, because it's funny, for years, therapy or therapists were like, "Oh, you're seeing a therapist. What's wrong with you?" Right? But nowadays, because I actually started seeing one about a month ago, it's amazing what you learn about yourself. And in this therapist guy, I mean, he's not only a therapist, but he's a performance coach, and it's unbelievable what you learn about yourself, attachment styles, and just everything, how you process. It's really incredible once you understand that about yourself, and how you can, like you just said, become the best version of you. Because if you want to attract, right, certain things and stuff in your life, you can't really be going out to attract certain things if you're not the best version of what you can be to begin with, right? But your expectations are X, but you're not even stepping up to it yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think
everybody's
guilty of it.
A lot of entrepreneurs and like people that we respect, or that I like listen to, or on a podcast or read or whatever. We just went to a fireside chat with the founder of Viore.
I know, that was incredible.
But even he said the exact same thing, and you'll see, like, instead of listening to differences, I start to listen to similarities in people that are like-minded, or people I really respect or want to learn from. And like being in a room with just like people on that level was an incredible experience. But he said the exact same thing. Like, he in his life was, he was not attracting the best stuff because he wasn't his best version. And it was just, like I said, it's similar to what you just said as well.
Interesting. Let's touch on that real quick before we finish up. Let's talk about that fireside, because when I saw that I was like, God, I wish I was there. And it was at the executive thing. So I reached out to Tim Callan, I think, was there too, right? Tim and Trevor and those guys. And then Anna Crow, was she all there at that fireside chat too?
So Masood was
it just foundation?
We don't know. So Masood knows how much we love Viore, and he wasn't able to make it. So he had reached out to Madison and I to see if we wanted to go. I worked with Joe Kudla.
You lucky asses.
Well, I used to actually work with Joe Kudla at Ernst & Young like 22, 23 years ago. So it was cool to see him and see his growth. Like, he's a
USD grad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
USD. Yeah, it's an amazing story. Obviously I'm wearing Viore as we speak. So
I would be if I wasn't dressed.
I'm actually mixing it up. Believe it or not, you got I can't believe I'm going to say this. I got Lululemon on and Viore. It's like, what the hell's wrong?
He's clashing.
But maybe I could show him, he can make his shirts a little bit better. And then,
I think the
I
shirts
love
look
their
great
shirts.
on men. Yeah.
Yeah. Which one are
but
you
the
getting?
Lulus are a little bit better. I don't know. I'm just going to say it, but to each their own.
Ooh.
Those are fighting
I
words.
think he's lucky we're not in person with him.
I don't know, I can't believe I'm saying I'm like admitting to Lululemon.
We also
anyway.
like showed up wearing full Viore, and it was like also like a networking event. And Natasha and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, we're really fangirling. Like, could you tell?
Yeah, right.
But we were comfy.
Who's the stalkers in the audience? I love it.
Well, it was funny.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the growth of his company and what they've put together. He's obviously San Diego guy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. It really, really is.
Is
there one tidbit that you could say after listening to his fireside that kind of you took away, other than what you said, the best self and blah, blah, blah? Anything else that we can kind of finish on?
Well, I guess I can go first. But one thing for me is, like I said, finding those within businesses and entrepreneurs that you respect and you learn from, and even our company. So like one of his things was he created like not just it wasn't just supposed to be a pair of like gym clothes for men. It was the like culture and like the experience of like what you were going to do with those clothes, as well as like, yeah, go to yoga, but then maybe go and have lunch with your friends after. And like the gap that there was so much more to it, and his passion as you hear him talk about it. And I think when I relate that to then I look at the company I work for, and I look at Masood, and I look at Foundation Escrow, and I'm like, okay, escrow is not sexy. Like, we all get that, but we make it sexy. But with that being said, like our motto always being like, we make buying and selling simple. Well, yeah, we create an experience. We create like a 5-star white glove experience for buyers and sellers, whether it doesn't matter the price point. So for me, like that takeaway is just like how it kind of, I can find that similarity in my life. And then like I listen to that now when I listen to other people and entrepreneurs like speak on a podcast or in a book. I kind of, there's all these common traits, I guess, across the board. So that was I took a lot away from that day, but I guess that was one.
I would say my biggest takeaway was this was his third clothing company. And, his other two failed. And so kind of going back to what you were saying, like when something fails, analyze it, do it, you know what I mean? And it took him 3 times. And at the end, like, so he went to family and friends to raise like $750,000 because they needed the capital. And they weren't growing, right? They were just in yoga studios just here in town, or they weren't in the places they need to be, and they couldn't understand why. And so I think he said he had like a month or 2 of capital left. And then him and his marketing team were like, you know what? We need to reach out to the consumers. Like, what are the consumers saying? And they put out this campaign that reached out to consumers, and they were like, you need to be e-commerce. Yeah. Like you need to be online, e-commerce. Like you can't, like, not just in the the yoga studios. And so they put out a pretty big campaign. And I mean, I got to learn about Viore through online. You know what I mean? I didn't see it at a store. Like, so it was their online marketing, but reaching out. No. Oh. Didn't see it on your butt. So it's just, reaching out to your client, like reaching out and growing. And like, again, going back to it was his third clothing line, and it almost failed for the 3rd time. And now look at it.
And talking about like, too, like giving back and getting abundance from that. Like he said, like he was at this party, I remember, and he was talking about there was like a medium there, kind of, psychic or something like that. But it was at this July 4th party years ago, and he was on his 2nd company at the time, and he was with the girlfriend, I guess, that wasn't, bringing him, it was toxic relationship, whatever it was. And this girl just like felt his energy, went up to him and was like, you're going to have the biggest, like gym apparel line, like that's ever hit ever. It's not going to be the company you're with right now or what you're working on. And it's not going to be with the girl you're with right now. And he he's like at this big party, he was like, I was in the corner, like crying, being like, what? Like, this is the way it was like, it was supposed to be this fun thing. And he said that night, talk about a moment when you change. He was like, I started to work on myself and realized like what I give out is what I attract. And if I'm not my best version, like kind of what we all just talked about. And, you know, and now look, and he's still friends, I think, with the person. And we were all kind of like laughing and talking about just like, you know, right place, right time. And there was somebody in an elevator, he said, wearing the Viore, like the men's joggers that everybody loves. And when he only had that month or two left of capital, it was someone was wearing this in an elevator, happened to be with the right person at the right time. And that person happened to be working for REI and was like, what is this? Like, we're looking for this for our, like, you know, our 10 doors that we're going to do. Like,
Oh, wow.
what is it? He's like, oh, it's Biore. It's like, he's like, we're looking for an up and coming. We're going to kind of pair it with like our Nike and Under Armour section. And that 10 doors that they did, they outperformed all of the other people that were within their, like,
they picked 10 companies.
They picked 10 companies, yeah. And that's what hit for Viore, was that REI. Like, that was, he said, his moment. So, you know, you listen to that and you can relate it to your life and pivotal moments for you. So it was a lot of good takeaways.
It's funny you say that too, because I even said to him, we were like in 2020, we were in Portland and we went to an REI, and I actually just had started wearing Viore, but I only saw them online. Well, I saw them at REI. I got this jacket. It was like, I still have, it's like a puffer jacket, Viore. And I was like, it was crazy to see you so early on in REI. I'm like, how'd that happen? He said they were still working out of his garage at that point when they had landed that REI. So it was cool.
Incredible.
Yeah. Stoked for him.
Yeah. What a great story here for San Diego and him and everything. Like, I mean, it's, and there's a lot of millions of stories like that with other companies. They always say, wherever you see a great company, someone made a courageous decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So, and that's very true in his side as well. Well, believe it or not, I know you were worried whether or not we could go an hour.
Did we go an hour?
We're at 55 minutes.
This is fun.
Yeah. So is this your first podcast, by the way, or multiple?
Yes.
First podcast? This is it?
Yes.
What's going to happen is, because you ladies are so awesome, now everybody's going to invite you on, and like, you know, maybe I could say I was like I was your primer.
You were. Thank you.
Well, thanks for making us so comfortable. It just felt like we were at like coffee with you, like normal.
Yeah, you know, chatting fireside chat with Justin, you know.
Yes. Let's do a remake.
Yeah, in person.
Really,
and maybe we do. Yeah, maybe we do need to have like a second episode. Yeah. And we'll have, when the studio's finished, well, back together, I should say, when the construction's done.
Can we?
And we'll set that. And that's probably going to be. It's probably going to be in May. So I'll look at the calendar and find out. Probably early part of May, maybe in the next few weeks. So.
Cool. Yeah.
Or we could go in Darren's backyard and have a fire. We could do it around the fire pit.
I mean, we could. We just have to bring all the freaking equipment. I mean, if we're going to do it right, you know, because we got lighting and microphones. And
that'd be a lot. You know. We have a ring light.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, that'll go.
We were waiting to see if Kevin could see all of our wrinkles, too.
Okay.
You don't have any.
Well, yeah, this is what happens when you get a little older. Okay. Yeah.
Well, she's way younger than we are, Justin.
Both of you.
Jeez, I don't know.
I don't know about this one.
Well,
this is fun.
I know, and I'm not gonna this isn't like a diss or anything. It's just one of my favorite stories, because one of the times when I met Natasha, like before we started, like it was right after her 40th birthday, and that's why like things were busy for her. But like when people ask me, oh, like how old's Natasha? Because like look at her, she's beautiful and like looks amazing always. But I always just say, I'm like, yeah, I think she's like 42. But I'm like, I just don't even do the math, because it was really like 6 years ago that I like, because she invited me to her birthday party. I remember being like, oh my God, we're really friends. But it was before we started working together.
How funny.
We're friends.
I love
it. In that moment, because I was like, she's so cool.
Well, you guys have been amazing. I should say you ladies have been amazing on. Thank you for coming. And, you know, having guests like you on is incredible. And it's going to continue to grow and share messages of good stuff. And then more importantly, I mean, honestly, the whole theory behind this all stemmed from Mr. Beast. Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
No.
You don't know who this guy is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I was downstairs watching TV with the kids one morning, and they were watching YouTube, and this guy, Mr. Beast, is on there, right? And if you don't know his story, this was all of maybe 5 years ago, not even that long ago, he was just doing normal YouTube videos playing video games, and he had like 1,100 subscribers on his channel. Okay. And then what he did is he said, you know what? I just want to go around and start videotaping, doing really nice things for people and giving people free stuff. So he started going into like Best Buy and, putting a circle of tape on the ground, putting a blanket over it, and just grabbing a random person in the store and saying, come over here. And then he pulls up the blanket and he says, listen, anything that you can fit in this circle in the next 5 minutes, you get for free. Right? So of course people are like losing their what, and they're running around the store and they're stacking TVs and shit all over the place. And it ended up, obviously, there's a lot of outflow in the beginning. I don't even know how he paid for it or financed it or whatever, but it's gotten to the point now he has 111 million subscribers. He makes, it's so much money every month. It's not even funny. It's in the millions every month. Millions every month now. All you need to do is YouTube the guy. He's everywhere.
YouTube him.
And now he has his own like burger line and all kinds of other stuff. The guy is so loaded, but it all was the concept of abundance to give, abundance to give, abundance to give, right?
I love
so give back. Yeah. Well, and that's literally where it came from. And so when I was thinking about a podcast, I didn't want to just do a podcast, be like, oh, let's talk about successful people. There's a million of them out there. I said, I want to do something where we can talk about success and how it's brought to people. That's great. But let's dive a few layers deep and get into, how has giving back, creating abundance, right? And then doing that, giving back to you. And that's ultimately where this came about. And it was
That's awesome.
The abundance to give, hence the name Abundance to Give. So what we're trying to do too, and is grow it to the point where we can then now start doing little challenges, giving back to charities and stuff. Obviously, we gave to Masood and to the Radies Children's when he was on and ran little challenges and stuff for it. So I lost. I don't know if you recall it, but we did the little, and this is where we need to get back to. We did little challenges where we had the little pie game where it hits you in the forehead.
Oh,
right? Right. And I lost. And then here we were, and I got to give money, which we love, and it's totally fine. But we really want to grow that to a level, and so sharing the concept is really where it came about, was Mr. Beast and what he did. I'm like, wow, if we're going to do it, let's do a podcast based on that and helping a bunch of people and create the reciprocity. So
you post some really cool videos of, I don't know, obviously people have posted them across the world, but of different situations where people make somebody smile or help somebody up off the ground or opens, you know what I mean? Whatever you're really great at that. I love every single one that you posted. It's like, those feel good for me to see other people helping people in need,
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And you do a great job. And we were very honored to have you to ask us on here. We would love to come back. And we're so proud of you for being better, not better, but you know what I mean? Like really trying to change the world. Like that's what this is about,
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we are exactly at an hour right now. So
I play the air guitar, you play air drums.
All right, we'll do it together. There you go. All right, so I'm going to hook you up on pickleball. Thank you so much for coming on, signing off, and have an amazing Friday.
You too.
And we'll see you at everything live on social media here soon.
Cool, can't wait. Thanks.
Bye.